Okay, awesome.
Awesome. So how are you? I'm so curious and excited to get to know you.
I'm good. I'm nervous and excited because I've never done anything never like this, so I'm kind of excited.
Yeah, nice one. So actually that's almost like the perfect place to start, I guess. Like what has inspired you to do the TLDP program? How long have you been with the company? I've just give you a very quick snapshot of background. Like I've actually been around Optavia for about 7 years now. So Helen and I were the team that brought the company from Take Shape to Life to Optavia.
Okay,
So I sort of have a bit of an understanding of sort of the ranking and the ranking process and the products, of course,
right,
that we help sort of rebrand and do all those and the culture. So I just wanted to let you know that I do know a little bit about it, not very much, I'm not close to it every day, but it's always been a pleasure to work with Optavia and
right.
be part of this program for sure. But yeah, so what made you want to sign up and do CLDP?
Okay, so 2 years ago we did the inaugural. My wife and I did the inaugural.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but we did it without the coaching, so we just did the kind of the self-guided stuff,
Yep.
which was amazing. We first saw Helen speak. We've been without the VA for about over 3 years. So we started, I don't know, 18 somewhere.
Yeah.
Um,
No.
we first saw Helen speak in, I believe it was Phoenix that
Yeah,
year.
Arizona. That would be what, end of September 2019 or something.
Yeah. So
Yeah, I couldn't
and
make
then,
that.
honestly, I know this sounds cheesy, and that's okay. I make my peace with it, but she changed our life, and so something happened there that caused me to, or caused us to make a decision. And then once we made the decision, like now my wife and I are both full time health coaches. So it's literally it's changed our life, and so we just feel like this is the next part in the process for us.
Oh, that's incredible. And doesn't sound cheesy at all. I actually often think the same thing. I met Helen over 10 years ago and it was in Melbourne. She wasn't supposed to be there. I had signed up to this thing. My friend said, "You should come." And I was like, "Okay, I trust you. I'll be there." Knew not much about it at all. And we now share sort of this mentor of ours. But yeah, she flew in and I think she was only there for less than 24 hours and she was talking about branding. And my background's in branding and marketing and I still do that. But she was sort of talking about things that no one else, like I knew that that's how I felt about things, but everyone else was telling me I'm an idiot for
Right.
thinking that way. And I'm like, she's using my language. Oh my goodness. And so I just went up to her and said, "Can we just keep in touch? Because I hadn't even had a proper conversation with her. And I knew she'd changed my life that day.
Right.
And 10 years on, she's still one of my greatest mentors and very good friends. Like we even are friends now more than anything else. And
Right.
she continues to change lives. So it does not sound cheesy to me. Anything you want to say here in these coaching sessions, of course, are confidential, but also it's a really safe space. Like I don't think anything's cheesy or corny. I'm kind of probably the queen of that.
And
Quite sentimental.
yeah, okay. I I wanted to kind of piggyback that kind of, so you know where I'm coming from a little bit. So once that happened, then I started seeing other things like Dr. Joe Dispenza. I don't know if you're familiar with him.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so that the secret, like just different
Yeah.
things just started stacking on top of one another that verified this, then this, then it's like I'm getting like goosebumps
Yeah.
because
Me too.
it couldn't, you can't make it up, and it just verified more and more and more. And Joe Dispenza, I like the science behind a lot of the stuff Helen talks about. He verified backs it up with science. So anyway, that's kind of where I fall.
Yeah.
So
I think it's really great. I think it's great because so many people um, that I know or have met along the way don't acknowledge or maybe don't have the open mind or awareness to start to say or acknowledge or feel that, no, hang on a minute. So this might sound woo woo, but there is this science backed thing too.
Mhm.
Like this stuff. And some people just don't want the awareness or don't choose to look at it like that. So I think it's amazing that you have and you do, because I think that's one thing that I always think Optiv is very special at doing is finding people and creating the community that are people that really truly believe. They truly, truly believe. And it's such a special company to be part of. and I always say it's one of my favorite clients I've ever worked on, because it's kind of a gift that keeps on giving. Like, everyone is always so connected and open. And even if there is something that is a challenge, or like is a question of a challenge, more times than not, people are open to hearing what the challenge is, so they can just talk about it and work it out for themselves. And so I'm really excited you're here, and I think it's oh, I'm wrapped that you felt like this was like the next step in the TLDP program. And I know I'm really excited to be sort of your coach. And so you've listened, you've been a part of those 2 lessons that we've had
Yeah.
so far. And
Yeah.
how do you think the journaling's gone and things like that? How are you going?
Well, the journaling's going awesome because
Good.
now, awesome in that it's just like we're doing it. But when I
Yeah.
did it before, it was mostly me. Okay, because
Mm,
my wife hasn't always, like, it's woo woo to her. It was okay. I'm being honest. She
yeah.
would, if she was here, she would tell you the same thing. But now, again, chill bumps and all of the weird stuff. But now we're doing it together, and then we're talking about it. So we're
Right.
because we both do it full time now, so we can catch the lives. We actually watched them both again last night. We're doing our journaling, and then not only are we doing it, then we're kind of talking about what we wrote, so that we can, I don't know, just kind of get on the same page, I guess.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. And so when it comes to the program, and I guess the goals that maybe you're setting for yourself, and your wife perhaps, so I'm not sure how you want to then conduct some of these conversations. I'm happy to sort of talk about it in the sense of you and your wife together, being transformational leaders, or is this just about you and your transformational leadership, just so I understand sort of how you've set up.
Well,
um,
I mean, I've done it already once. She didn't. I mean, she was aware, and she's been around Helen obviously as long as I have, but she didn't really participate in it a whole
right,
lot.
right.
So I guess this coaching piece is mostly for me, but she's going to watch the recordings.
Yeah, great.
But if that helps you, I hope it helps you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, no, yeah, because it just helps me sort of understand that this is about, I guess, you and your transformational leadership. Because when we talk about, like, I'm just going to sort of ask you about maybe what goals maybe you've set, or thinking about, we're talking about the inner game and liberating the leader within. What are some of the goals, or what are some of the things that who's the person that you want to become as we go through the program? So what I'm going to do after sort of this first session of us connecting and understanding sort of what the goals are and where we want to be, who we want to be and where we want to go, I'll start to sort of form a little bit of a process in my mind, knowing that we'll flex and flow as we go. With something might come up one week and you say, I really want to talk about this. This has sort of come up in the last few weeks, and that's fine. We can definitely talk about anything that you have coming up or that you want to talk about. It's just like in my mind, I can start to work out, sort of the foundation of where we're going. So, what are some of the goals maybe potentially that you've set for yourself, or
As
what's most
far as
important to you?
what to, to get out of this, out of the TLC
Yeah,
PDP,
yeah, and you becoming a transformational leader. Yeah,
I just made this is good. This is what it is, but I haven't really set any goals, and I because I don't know enough to be able to set goals. If I'm being honest, I'm
yeah,
trying to be open. I know the future version of myself. I know what like rank I want to be, what our income. Like I know these things.
hmm,
But I don't know where I'll be with regards to that when I finish this. This
right,
is for me. This is just for, I say me. The coaching piece is mostly for me, but for us on the TLDP, it's just we just kind of want to see where it takes us.
yeah,
And then the journaling is I got my journal, but it's really beginning to awaken, and I'm starting to
mhm,
see the themes and all the things. So I feel like I've got a better understanding today than I did 3 days ago,
yeah,
if that helps. But
yeah.
I don't have an expectation. I don't. I don't know if that's good or bad, but I don't.
No, I think it's fine. And I think that's one of the things about the coaching, or just the program as a whole. And I know we touched on it in one of the lessons around, there's nothing to fix, right? Like, some people might come and say, oh, you don't have a goal, but then, we have to work on the goal. Like, there's nothing to fix. Everything's always going to be perfect, and we're always going to start where we start. So the question I would ask is, because I understand that. So what I've heard is that you haven't set sort of any goals. I haven't thought about any goals in terms of the program or um, of anything like that, which I think is fine, honestly.
Okay.
Yeah, totally fine. The question I'll ask though, in sort of to layer it, is when you talked about, you know, what rank you want to be, you know, what income you want to have, they're still goals. So
Right.
you do in fact have goals.
Right. I have
So,
goals, just not with regards to the outcome of this program.
yeah, yeah. And so where I think I'll start, or where I'll sort of ask a question is, who do you have to become, or what does your future self look like when you have reached those goals,
Okay. Okay.
right? Because that's going to be the transformational sort of inner game changes that will begin to happen. Because when I think we brought it up, Helen brought it up in the lessons as well, like a lot of people, when they think they have to change, or when they hear the word change, they think I have to do something differently.
Right.
I have the goal of this rank, I have the goal of this income. What do I have to do? How many people, like very transactional, like, you know, how many people do I need to call to get this rank, to get the income? Instead of looking at it, which is still important, by the way,
Right.
but when we think about it in transformational leadership, we'll say, instead of what do I have to do, it's who do I have to become
Right.
to get those goals, to become that rank, and to have that income. So what do you think are some of the qualities or leadership qualities that you'll need to adopt or grow into or grow through to get those ranks and that income that is your
Okay.
goal?
So the theme that keeps coming to me is inspirational. I need to inspire others, and I need to. And when we did this before, like that's like a superpower for the top five. I can't remember what it was called,
Mm-hmm.
but we took that one assessment,
Yeah.
and that made sense. Like it made sense for me. I can begin to dream, and I can help people. And I'm like, I know you may not find we just met, but like I'm a big goal setter.
Yeah.
Um, where was I going with that? So I truly believe in the goal piece, but what I'm beginning to see is what I need to become is an inspiration, a person that helps people become inspired.
Mm-hmm.
So what I need to do is be open. This is what I this is a transformation that I see taking part. The process in me needs to be. So I need to be open and listen. And here's why: because as I am open and begin to listen, I can hear their heart, whoever their heart, like our team, hear their heart. Who am I? And so as I can hear that, somebody did this for us, but once you hear what they want, then you kind of begin to believe for them,
Yeah.
and you begin to inspire them to dream a little bit
Mm-hmm.
and believe that they can do it, and begin to help them create the action steps to get little wins.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I mean, that's a lot of stuff I just said there, but that's what I need to be. That's the future version of myself. That's the integrated presidential director. That's going to make this. That's going to have a huge team. And I don't want a huge team for the sake of me having a huge team. I want a huge team because this is the lives that we've impacted.
Yeah.
Um, and my life was forever changed through this program, not just health.
Yeah.
And that's what I want to help others do if that's what they want. That's the caveat. If
Yeah.
that's what they
Yeah.
want. I'm
Yeah.
not going to jam it down your throat, but if I can listen to you and hear your heart and help you see that and then show you that this is possible,
Mm.
would that be something you'd be open to do? And to just begin to awaken them and inspire them in that area.
Yeah.
Does
I
that,
think.
that make sense? But that's what I feel my purpose is. That's my heart. I mean, that keeps coming up in my journaling. And it's
Yeah.
only been a couple of weeks, but that's new. That didn't happen a couple of years ago. That's now.
I
So
can really hear it too, and I can feel it more than I can hear it. I really believe, like, I can tell that that is so true for you. Like, that is such a heart piece for you. I can really feel that.
but I don't know how to do it. That's my problem.
Right, right,
Okay, so there's
right.
the disconnect. I, Sometimes I'm not very inspirational. Sometimes I'm just not a jerk, but I get impatient, or I don't have empathy. So so I can see some of the areas where I know what my heart is, and it's not fixed. I understand that. I need everything I need is within me. I get it. I know it. So I just need to transform
Yeah.
from from. I mean, I'm better than I was 2 years ago, but
Yeah.
I just need the continual process for that to continue to happen,
Yeah.
because I know what the end is.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't necessarily. It's not for me to decide how to get there, I suppose, but
Mm.
I can feel it. I know what I'm supposed to do. I know my purpose.
Yeah.
Well, I'm doing a lot of talking. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, no, no. This is a session for you. Like you're not doing too much talking. You talk as much as you want. Anytime you want to talk.
Okay.
The question I'll ask though is you're saying that you know what you have to do, and you sort of mentioned how you have to be inspirational, and you are a lot of the time. I think what I can hear in you is I think you've grown through the business because you have been and you are a very inspirational person. You probably wouldn't have grown, you wouldn't have grown through Optavia and been successful in Optavia if you weren't. Right. So the question now I have is almost like you've just said you know what you have to do. Um, so what is that? And how are we gonna change through that? Like how are we you said you know what you have to do. So what is that we have to do and why like how are we gonna get there?
I feel like I know what I need to become,
Mm-hmm. Which is
but
all
as
the more inspirational and the
yeah,
yeah,
inspirational
aesthetic.
and a
Yeah.
listener, and talk less, listen more, and hear, and then begin to inspire. Sometimes I fall short on how do I inspire.
Right.
I I, I don't know how to do that all the time. That's where I what I need to learn how to do better, in my
Mm.
opinion.
Yeah.
Again, I know it's in me.
Yeah.
I just need to draw it out of me
Yeah.
and how to be better at it.
Yeah.
So does that answer?
It does. And so I've got another question actually in that case. So
Okay.
I want you to think about a time that you felt like you did inspire and you've been really inspirational to somebody. It can be in Optavia, it can be in a personal or like any other setting in your life, an old job or yeah, in Optavia, like any time of your life where you have felt sort of in that groove and in the flow of like you walking away from a situation going, you know what, I really was my best then and I really did inspire that person. And because I saw it in their eye,
Okay.
because that's what you would look for. I know you like your heart, you'd look for them, you'd feel it and then you see it in their eyes. Can you think of a time that you've walked away from something thinking, you know what, yeah, I feel really good about the way I've inspired that person?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
I mean, yeah, I can.
yeah,
More than one, I suppose.
yeah.
Um,
And so, yeah.
Go ahead.
No, no, go, go, go.
So what would you like to know about it?
Well, what I would like to, I'm glad you've got some, more than one sort of in your mind because I think what I'm hoping you'll draw on for this conversation, and then we can work on how to sort of do a bit of like some exercises or even some journaling around how to continue that feeling and make sure that it's always our top of mind when we go into conversations.
Right.
Is what do you think that you were doing when you were in that flow of inspiring people that was so meaningful?
Number one was listening. And
Mm,
I allowed them to talk first. And then the second thing that I know is I listen with my heart.
mm,
And I often, maybe most of the time, I don't do that,
mm,
because I can be transactional, very transactional. And I'm kind of a type A personality. I can be competitive and all the things. But when I just stop and just listen,
mm,
I feel like if I approach it, like I think you touched on it, um, go into it with that mindset, with being mindful of that,
Mm.
and that'll make a difference. And I don't always do that. I just, hop on a call, hop on a Zoom with without any kind of intention being said. I just get on and wing,
Mm.
wing it. Honestly, that's the truth. I'm being honest with you.
Yeah.
So does that answer or
Yeah, and I think that's a really, and I almost feel like you just said something even I need to hear, which is often the case actually. But and that's why like I'll get so much out of our sessions together, like, which I'm really excited about. But you just said, I think, a really profound thing, that setting an intention before you go into whether it's phone calls or Zoom calls, excuse me. And it might even just be, to your point of what you just said, like all you might need is 30 seconds or 1 minute just to sit there and go, just to take a deep breath in between calls. Like sometimes I know you guys have calls
right,
all the time. And that can get very tiresome. Like it can, and just mentally exhausting. And, I bet sometimes in the mornings you feel like you probably listen better, or a certain time of day you might listen more to some than some of the others, because after a while, if it can feel a bit heavy, it's so much easier to a bit like listen less or feel a bit more transactional about it, for sure. So
we're just getting through this because we got this. Yeah. Okay. I see what you mean. Yeah.
so maybe so firstly I'll say please don't be hard on yourself, because I think what you do as coaches is amazing. Like in terms of how much you really do give, even if you think you don't, you know, come in with an intention, the fact that you're showing up for people and giving people your time is a real gift. So I will say that, like, don't be hard on yourself, because um I just think the time and effort a lot like you put in is a really big thing.
Right.
I would say though, like as maybe an exercise to between now and the next time we speak, because I'm not going to
Okay.
give you too much homework in terms of this, because you're doing great with the journaling. I would say between now and then just continue the journaling. We've got the Q&A tomorrow, and then another leadership lesson coming up the week after. So there'll be some more activations there. So I'd say just keep doing that.
Okay.
But one thing I'll say in terms of a bit of an exercise to do is, before each different phone call, Zoom call, spend 30 seconds to 1 minute. Um, even whether it's like, I don't know if you listen to music to wind.
Sometimes I do this. I'll write sometimes, and that's the problem. I don't do it very often, and I'll post it right here, right?
Yeah, that's it.
So that I know, so I'm aware of my intention, but I don't
Yeah.
do it very often, Stephanie. So anyway, go ahead, finish your
And though, like your intention, your post-it note that could just live there might just be listen more. It might just be breathe. It might be take 30 seconds. And it doesn't have to change with every call or intention, because with every call or Zoom call, sorry, like, because you might just have it there as remember to breathe or remember to listen. So it's always there. You don't have to take it off, or you don't have to set a new intention every call. You
right.
don't have to set a new intention every Zoom, because you know that you can connect with anyone, no matter the individual. You could connect with everybody if you just drop in a little bit more.
Right.
And all that's going to take is a couple of deep breaths and just a reminder to yourself, the intention I'm setting is to listen. That's it. Because naturally, and I can tell just by a very short conversation already, like naturally, I can tell that you are a very empathetic person, and you do show up for people, and you do want to listen, and you do listen. And so I think it'll just take a couple of deep breaths before every call for you to go, okay, 30 minutes or an hour call, whatever it is, I can slow that down. It's just a matter of, it's almost a little bit like slowing our minds down, isn't it? Because you've got to
Right.
get so many calls. It's like, I know what I've got to do. I know how this has to go. I've got 10 more calls after this. And so it's almost your mind's going faster than time is going.
And then it creates that
Quiet the mind.
chaos. It creates that chaos,
Right.
and then you're
And
going
that's
to
probably
listen
where
to
the
this.
disconnect might come. Yeah. So if before each call, even if it's 30 seconds, and actually it's something that we do between these coaching calls. So I've got about, I don't even want to like scare you with the number, but it's 40 plus people that I coach now during the weeks.
Okay. Just
Yeah,
with this, just with, wow. Okay.
and the thing is, like, I kind of go, oh, that's a lot. But then I think of Optavia people, I'm like, oh my goodness. So you guys must have like
Yeah, it's still a lot though. You got to be on all the time. So
all the time.
I understand that.
But
Yeah.
what we do is we schedule in whether it's 5 minute break or a 10 minute break between each call.
Okay.
Just so sometimes I'll just go outside and I'll take a big breath of fresh air and come back in. Or sometimes I will maybe step away from the computer, go and stare out my window and just take a deep breath before I go into the next call. And sometimes it just takes 30 seconds if I'm running overtime. But I feel like scheduling that 5 minutes between calls and not going from one to the other
Right.
helps with kind of just recalibrating.
Right. Not
Recalibrate.
bringing what just happened into the next call, which is,
Right.
so that way gives you almost a pause between each one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And then during that pause, just take, a minute. I don't know if you listen to music or you've got a favorite song or something, a song that relaxes you. Sometimes I'll listen to classical music, even if it's just for 1 minute. Like a pianist I quite like I'll just listen to him for like a minute just to go, oh, that's so nice. And just sort of bring me back down a little bit before my next call. So there are all these sort of little tips and tricks of just making sure, because it's about being intentional for us or for you, right? Like it's about you being intentional for you because this is about your inner game and you know what you have to do to inspire. You know how to do it.
Right.
Yeah.
I just don't always do it.
Right, right.
So
And
that awareness is important.
so important.
However, okay, now I'm aware. Now what? Like that, you know what I mean? Like I know that's not the healthiest thing to do, and I know I'm not trying to fix nothing. But once you gain the awareness, then it feels, again, I know it's all in here. I'm
Yeah.
I'm just I don't know. I want it
Yeah.
to be fast. I want it to be now, right? And
I
I
know.
know that's not
I
how
know.
it
I'm
works.
the same. I'm the same.
It
And
doesn't.
sometimes I'm like, if it's not now, I just like who like I can't be bothered. Like if it's not, I want it now. I want it
Right.
now.
Right.
And then yeah, and that's why like so setting this little task from now until the next time we speak of between each call, take 30 seconds, but anywhere between 30 seconds and 5 minutes, I
Okay.
think will be fine. Well, let's go 1 minute to 5 minutes.
Okay.
Like 60 seconds, I know what you mean, like I want it all now, but like 60 seconds, you go, oh, like that's less time than it takes me to take a sip of coffee, basically.
Right.
So,
Right.
right, or to go and get a drink of water or
Go
go
back.
and get a chocolate mint bar, which I love
Yeah.
to, right? So just take those little times. And it doesn't mean that in between each call, you're going to be perfect and do it right every time. But
Right.
as long as we start to maybe commit to trying to do that
Okay.
by week 1, 2, 3, till the next time we catch up, you might not do it every time, but what you might start to see is, okay, I am going through to the next call a little bit calmer with more of an intention to listen and being heart led and just listening a bit more because I'm getting tired. It's towards the end of the day. And it's just about being honest with yourself about all those things. And even if you do that 10% of the time between now and the next time we speak, that's progress,
Right.
right? So I
Right.
don't want you to be hard on yourself to make sure you've got to do it every single time, but just start to be aware if it starts to feel different for you when you start going into calls, maybe with that bit more of an intention. And yeah, and then let me know how that goes next time we sort of catch up. And I might check in between now and then. I might shoot you an email just to see
Okay.
how you're going with it and if I can offer any help or anything like that. You definitely like feel free to reach out to me.
Okay. Just through the email that if we need.
Yeah, yeah. I'll send you an email because I think that email goes straight to concierge.
Okay.
I'll send you an email to check in,
Okay.
and you'll have my personal Bailey and email, so you can email me anytime if you've got a question about anything, or Steph, I'm a bit stuck on this, or I started doing it and I'm a bit blocked here. Like, how can I get through that? Anything you might feel you have a question on, don't hesitate to ask me. But has this been helpful? Is that a helpful tip to
Yeah.
sort of in our journey in terms of
Right. Just talking about it and, yeah, it's been helpful. It kind of helps me, I don't know, like bring it into focus, if you will, like binoculars. I mean, you can see it out there, you see all that stuff, but this has kind of helped focus it a little bit for me
Yeah.
as to what I need to
Yeah, that's
work
great.
on. So I appreciate it.
Oh, of course, anytime, and that's what I'm here for. And I've made a few notes, so I am going to sort of really think about what the things are, and I'll always sort of draw on our lessons that we have, because I think they're really, really powerful lessons. I think some of the anecdotes that Helen talks about, the exercises, the metaphors, like they're so helpful
Mhm.
for us to get clear about this inner game, and liberating the leader within, of course. So I think that sort of that little exercise, I think, will be a really good beginning to slowing down our minds a bit.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
I did that today. I journaled on the heart thing, with the three parts or whatever. And I can see that, like, that is your heart. I get it. When she says that, until I journaled on it, I didn't get it.
Yeah.
And then when you really start to, so yeah, that was good. I realized we're at the top. So, but it was very helpful, and I like that. So,
Yeah. Yeah. And like I said, yeah, keep journaling, and take your 5 minutes, 1 to 5 minutes before each call.
okay.
Just sink back into you. This is about you. The first four lessons are all about you.
Right.
Um, and yeah, like I said, any questions, reach out.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Oh, Rob, such a pleasure to meet you.
It was a pleasure to meet you too. And you'll send emails for scheduling next time and all that stuff, right?
Wow. Thank you for reminding me. So the times are already in the portal for you to jump on and book a time, which is the week beginning the 24th of May.
Okay.
So there's like a
Yeah,
lot of
okay.
time slots.
Oh, we got,
Yep. So they're all in there right now. So you can log in, and pick, and you've got a bit of a pick of the bunch actually, because people, like I mentioned it at the end of every call, that it's open for the next
oh,
session.
and I'm at the beginning of the week. So,
Yeah. And
yeah.
that's right. Pick of the bunch.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Stephanie.
Perfect. No, thank you. It's been a pleasure meeting you. I'm excited.
Yeah, I am too. I appreciate you. Thank you very much.
I appreciate you too. Thank you,
All
Rob.
right.
Take care.
Bye bye.